good.
And we are live. Hello everybody.
How's it going?
There's so many beautiful messages here. It's Siman's incarnation day today.
Your love the past few seconds, and I'm already feeling overwhelmed. For me these days personally, it feels like the comments are so loving and so overwhelming that I can only glance at them for a few seconds, and then the intensity of it makes me want to just go in my space and absorb it from a distance, because we're also becoming more sensitive, all of us as a collective, and we're feeling the energy without having to, read every single word and line. We just feel the energy from a distance, and in such a huge magnetic group like ours, the energy is so palpable. You guys are such powerful spiritual warriors of light, and when you all come together and surround me with your love, it is truly felt and quite overwhelming, and I'm going to digest this just
so why don't we do this then? One of the things I was telling Siman is he's always giving. He's the most giving person I know. He's always giving. Even when I remember when we, like in Toronto, we just go to random places, like even in Egypt, a random person needed a healing or a psychic surgery and he was giving. We went to Sedona. He saw an implant in someone's crown. His guides gave him the green light and he was removing. So he's always giving. So right now we want to just shower you with our love.
Fine.
So just close your eyes.
I'm open to receive.
Siman's open to receive. Let's all create a powerful heart torus frequency, soul family. And project your prayers, your blessings, your love from your heart to Siman's heart. We can feel everything. This is a good time to say prayers, to give your blessings, to offer your blessings for the highest life, a life of ease, a life of great joy, a life of such bliss, a life of activating the abundance that we are all worth, activating our royalty templates, and being an example for so many more divine masculine to follow your footsteps, because you have raised the bar so very high. And now it is so much easier for the divine masculine to follow your footsteps, Siman. Thank you for everything you do for every single one of us. It is felt so deeply. Thank you so much for everything.
It's very sweet.
We felt that, right?
Really touched my heart.
That was so beautiful.
Like I said, I'm at a loss for words, so I won't even get into it. I'm just receiving.
And before the video started, I said to Siman, I'm not feeling so grounded. And he's like, don't worry, I'm feeling grounded. And the next thing he knows, his iPad falls on the floor. I'm like, whoa.
Such are these energies, right?
The energies are so damn crazy. Oh my
They're
God.
Bonkers like bananas.
Yeah, exactly.
Trust me, we're not immune to the energies. We're all feeling it.
Ooh. Before he goes into an energy update, this just literally came to me 5 minutes ago when I was lying down upstairs and clearing the space. The vision that was shown to me really is like an airplane. Why are the energies this intense? It was shown to me like an airplane is trying to take off, and the airplane has like 1 million cords and 1 million stones. So every cord is tugging on the airplane, and there's a stone, there's an anchor, there's a tether underneath these cords. So this airplane is taking off, this rocket ship is trying to take off, but all these cords, these stones that we haven't yet figured out, that we haven't yet attended to from our 3D, from our lives, are holding us down. And I was literally shown this. I haven't even shared this with you when we were upstairs. Yeah. And that is what every single one of you is going through right now. Every single one of us is going through this. Any area that still feels like a burden, like a tether, like a stone, like these are being cleared out so that our rocket ships can take off. And really, we're being prepared for takeoff.
Yeah.
So, guys, if the energy is intense, yes, it is. Like this banana bread will prove to you how intense it is.
It's bananas.
Well, it's gluten free, right?
Yeah.
And we ordered like our cappuccinos. We said we need coffee. Well, it's dairy free, but yeah. So we're getting ready for takeoff, and we have an update for you. Siman's going to start with an energy update for Equinox, and then I'm going to give you 5 or 6 tips that'll help you manage these energies and really shed light on what are these energies trying to teach us, what are they trying to show us. So once you hear all of these, you might get so much clarity and say, oh my god, I'm going there, I need to be going here, because that's what really is happening. All right, so sit back, relax, and let's dive into March a little bit.
So March has been nothing but intense since the beginning. When it was the beginning of of this month, we made an energy update, and the first thing that I said I felt in the energy of March was surrender, because the energy is getting chaotic by design, and that's what we really need to dissect and understand fully. Is that this energy is not just chaotic because it's somehow unrelated to you. It's exactly what your soul needs to be experiencing in this moment in order to shake things up. And this is how energies are orchestrated. They give us exactly the jolt we need at the exact time that we need it. So right now, humanity is going through this big jolt and a shake-up process where everything, everything that was hidden beneath the surface or in our closets or anything that was not being attended to is being shoved directly in our face and brought to the forefront, whether we like it or not. And this is the energy of Equinox, basically what we're walking through on March 20th. In some countries, it's March 21st. But the energies of Equinox are such that we're literally passing through this vortex or portal where we're going to be chopping off our previous timeline and walking brand new into a new timeline. So this is going to be not a transitional timeline. This is going to be a very abrupt timeline jump.
Like a timeline cut.
And
Almost.
Cut off the old,
yes,
and bringing in the new. And that is exactly why our higher selves gave us the guidance to release the cord cutting ceremony this upcoming Sunday. And we're going to explain why that is so important. So hopefully most of you are attending the cord cutting ceremony, but if you are not, I just wanted to highlight the importance of cord cutting so you can perform this ritual for yourself in any way that you see fit. So cord cutting is basically a ritual where we cut off our ties with old patterns, habits, relationships, or anything that is out of balance in our life. And that is very significant for this equinox energy, because equinox is all about bringing things back into balance. The energy of equinox is us going from the dark days of the winter and going back into light. So this is where the dark and the light come into balance, right at that still point on March 21st. So what does this mean? Like dark and light, how does that apply to me, my life on a micro level? How that applies to you, the dark and the light and the balance, is that this is a perfect energetic equilibrium point within our souls, that when we walk through this portal, if we set clear and very precise instructions to the universe of what kind of patterns we wish to let go and leave behind, then the universe is going to amplify your intentions thousandfold. So this is like us being energetic wizards and saying, let's work with the forces of nature. Let's work with the forces of planet to harness the good within these energetics. So when we become wizards, when we become scientists of this earthly energy that we can harness for our own good, then we jump into quantum higher timelines where we're suddenly above the chaos, not pulled into it. Because 4D is the realm of chaos. 4D is where we're walking between two worlds, between the 3D and the 5D. So 3D being this structured way of logical thinking with no intuition, 4D being this transitory phase where we are activating our intuition, but our mind is still taking over and pulling us back into chaos. And 5D being a state where we have accepted ourselves as divine beings and fully activated our true highest potential and are able to rise above this ball of chaos. So this is the whole journey that we're going through. This is called the hero's journey. This is all predestinated in our planetary cycles. So Earth goes through all the cycles, all the phases of the zodiac, and these are cosmic stories that we as humanity are playing out, but these are cosmic stories that have been going for eons in cycles of time. So we're entering a new cycle of time. So that's why this equinox becomes even more important, because we're not just balancing the light and the dark of this year, we're balancing the light and dark of our entire 4 billion year old planetary history. Now, how humongous is that? We have been so marked by disease, war, famine, and all of that, that humanity's consciousness is suddenly getting a knock on the head, and they're getting a jolt, and they're getting a sudden wake up and saying, what, like, WTF? Like, what the fuck are we creating? What are we allowing? Why have we allowed this? Why has darkness risen to such chaotic levels? And why are we not the ones in charge, as we always should have been, as guardians of this planet? So this equinox is reminding us that you, all of us, are guardians of this planet. We're stewards of this planet. And that means taking responsibility, first of all, for everything within our own lives, our own emotions, instead of projecting them. And there's many more aspects of this balance that equinox will teach us. But coming back to cord cutting, it is highly recommended that you take some time to take stock of all the things that you want to leave behind this equinox, and ask the universe for added assistance to help you break those patterns and leave them behind for good, rather than repeating these recursive cycles that keep you locked in 3D slavery and misery. So
I love that.
This is just a recap of what we're facing.
I love that. And going back to cords, guys, many of you know it, but this is so important to really, really grasp. You know that analogy I gave you guys of your rocket is taking off. And right now, being untethered doesn't just mean selling your home, doesn't just mean moving to a beach country, doesn't just mean saying goodbye to all your people who are toxic in your lives. It is all of that, but it's not just that. With all of that done, without actually psychic surgically, like literally removing, because I remember when I first did my cord cutting 7 years ago or 6, I can't remember. This was a while ago when Metatron taught us this powerful method of cord cutting, and Archangel Michael came in and all of that. But when I did it for the first time, I saw, literally, I felt like I was walking 20 pounds lighter. I've been through some crazy. So cord cutting isn't just like, oh, let's just cut cords. It's something that we have to do on our spiritual path at a certain point so that our rocket ship can take off. And you know what's really important? It's not just doing all the things I mentioned about cutting ties, but it's actually going in chakra by chakra and seeing what traumas or what energetic hooks are still plugged into my chakras. So even though I think I have moved forward from them, they're still tugging at me. Literally, they're tugging at your chakras. They're tugging at your sacral chakra. All your past lovers that you have negative energy with, narcissist lovers, your mom, let's say your mom and you are not in good terms, all these, your children, if you're in a bully relationship with your teenage children, I'm talking about every day, your spouse. What if you're constantly fighting with your spouse? We teach all of this in our psychic protection course, and cord cutting is one module of that course. But guys, this is not just stuff that we're putting out there for fun. This is a part of the curriculum for the rocket ship that we are on. That is the difference between what Siman and I do and maybe what you're used to. We need the curriculum followed, because I can't put it any other way. Because these cords are tugging at you. So how are you going to progress in your spiritual journey if these talks? So what we do is these cords, let's say there's a cord that's tugging at your sacral chakra, because it's 1444, I love that, minutes. So let's say there's these cords tugging at you from your sacral chakra, and you're constantly inviting or attracting or magnetizing the same kind of lovers or romantic relationships. What does that tell you? It means you've got the lesson here, but there is still an open chord in your chakra that it's open, saying, hey, I still have this chord open. So now come and tug at me. Come and tug at me, because now I'm an energy source for you, because I haven't dealt with these chords. I haven't sliced them, cut them, scooped them, and sealed them.
Yeah.
That's how important it is. So I know many of you are attending this Sunday. For any of you who are not, tickets are at EldoRaandSiman.love. So www.EldoRaandSiman.love. Tickets are $111, but as we have said, anybody who is facing financial difficulty, write an email to info@houseofra.com, info@houseofra.com, and one of our assistants will get back to you. We're going to cut it off by Sunday early morning, so don't message after that. And as soon as you register, you'll pretty much receive a response with the Zoom link, how to prepare the cacao and all of that stuff.
And a replay is available for everyone who attends. We'll make the replay available for lifetime access.
So if you cannot attend live on Sunday, you can get the replay anytime. And in fact, we're going to be putting the replay up on our website because our guides want us to have it. They're like, tomorrow, if you have a whole bunch of people, do you want to again do a cord cutting, or do you want this to be done right away? So we're going to put it up and all of that, but I'm just highlighting to you the importance of this.
It's a timeless healing that we'll be performing. And what I wanted to add to what EldoRa mentioned is that there's one thing for you to Google what is a cord cutting and how do I do it at home. But there's a more advanced modality that's being downloaded into us. And that is the modality of advanced quantum psychic surgery. And this is something that we're going to be introducing in our advanced healing courses in the future. But until we are able to get to a point where we have our whole curriculum that we can teach the public, we're offering these mini healing sessions of psychic surgery that go deep into each chakra and remove cords as stubs through the assistance of technicians of light that work with Archangel Michael. So this procedure will be available to the public in the future for you to learn for yourself, as well as to perform on clients, and as well as to spread the knowledge. We in 5D, one of the paradigms that Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael have taught us is that all knowledge needs to be propagated out. So this is our main mission and focus. And we're also getting direct teachings from the Ra Collective about the Law of One. And the main agreement that we have made with the angelic realm in order to receive this flow of information very openly and clearly is that our highest soul's purpose is to see all of you succeed. And we do that by opening up all channels of information in the best way possible. This is truly what the 5D templates, when we say we came here to implement 5D templates, this is what it is. It's open flow of information, but it also means that we cannot just teach certain healing modalities openly on YouTube. It also means that we have to structure certain things in courses so that you guys are effectively learning it and in a way that we can certify the results. So there's many of these teachings coming through, but in the meantime, we're offering these mini sessions as group healing so you can experience it for yourself.
Did you have any more to say about the Equinox before we go into this stuff?
No, go into the next point.
Perfect. So guys, there's a few tips that you can use, and some of the tips I can say from personal example based on some of the lessons that are coming up in my field right now. So the first thing is actually very important. Whether you're attending our Sunday event or not, I recommend this for everyone, but especially for those who are going to be sitting in ceremony with us this Sunday. We need you all to please, and we do this all the time, declutter your space. And what that means is taking inventory of all those closets of clothes, of shoes, of bags, of heels, even old photographs. You know how people say, oh, I want to keep all these photographs of my old marriage and my old this and my old that. You know, when I left my ex-husband, my guide said, take all the pictures, rip them and throw them in the garbage. And I'm like, what? What about my pictures when I was pregnant? What about my pictures when I was They're like, throw everything, because that is you releasing the past. So that was my cord cutting 7 years ago when Metatron guided us through all of that. So declutter every aspect of your lives. And one of the advantages of the 5D life that Siman and I lead, I mean, the traveling life, is we're always decluttering. Because every city we come to, we come with 5 suitcases. Well, it was 4, now it's become 5. Plus, I have the singing bowls now, my God. And plus, we have the 2 hand carries. So what we do is we make sure we always, like we buy for whatever city, we bought a juicer in Florida, brand new, used it for 3 months, and then donated it. So we're constantly purging, and that keeps our energy clear, because remember, energy is what causes stuck blockages in you. So let's say you have hundreds of clothes and you're like, oh, I'll wear that one day. If you have not worn it in the last 6 months, it's time for it to be donated. And that was huge for me. When I first did it, I'm like, no, I can wear that. No. When I lose 20 pounds, I can wear that. Even if I gain 10 pounds, I can wear that. I had all and now it's like, what does my energy reflect in my clothing? That is what I want to keep. And this is huge. I'm getting shivers as I say this, because I'm thinking of so many of you right now that are used to, and you saw how the light, just the sun went like that. So many of you are wearing clothes just because you've spent money on them, or just because you've bought this jewelry that, you just have it, or you've received it from your grandmother or whatever. Cleanse, declutter, donate. The clearer your closet, the clearer everything is folded, the clearer your shoes are. Trust me, this is actually a fact. Energy will suddenly leave your space. And I have a true story to give you as an example. 5, 6 years, I don't remember, the same time when we were doing cord cutting, let's say 6 years ago, Siman and I went to the mall. I walked the whole mall for 5 hours with Siman and didn't like anything. I couldn't physically buy anything. So I went home and I'm like, what the hell? Nothing suits me. I hate the Canadian malls. And my guide said, declutter. So this exercise basically, exactly. So I went through all of my clothes and I donated 50 to 60% of them. The next week, I went back with Siman to the mall and I bought, like, I've never shopped so much. All of a sudden, new things are fitting me, new belts, new accessories, a new look.
Yeah,
do you remember that
I remember that very
and
well.
Siman's like, remember last week you couldn't fit into anything? Like literally nothing fit me. I'm like, I'm so fat.
And sometimes when you purge your items, you also lose weight. It's magical.
The same clothes. I'm thinking I'm so fat, like nothing fits me. And the next day I wear the sexiest clothes and I'm like, wow,
because
I'm so
objects that
hot.
you're carrying around you are actually becoming energetic tethers in your aura. So the more we declutter, the lighter your aura will feel. And I'm also getting that this ascension is like passing through the eye of the needle. We need to be like a dot. We need to be like a still point. That's what is meant by you are being zero pointed. It really means you are being taught how to become a single dot, a single point of existence. Because at our truest core, our God self is just one particle of light. And that particle of light does not attach to anything. That particle of light is completely clear. And what we're doing in this process as humans, we've collected dust in our screen. So we're like projecting all these stories in our aura. Like, let's say this is the surface and these are all my stories. I'm living here. But when I realized and let go of all these stories and I cut my cords and bring my awareness back to being that particle of light, I realize I just become the observer of life, but I don't attach to anything. Somebody sends me negativity, I don't attach to it. And suddenly all my lessons disappear because I have become one with all that is. So that's the whole journey of spirituality. If you ask what it is in a nutshell, it's going back to your God self. And going back to your God self really means letting go of all your tethers and looking at life just as an observer. And you know what the most interesting thing is? Looking at life as an observer does not mean looking at other people. It's not people watching, it's watching yourself. Because you'll laugh your ass off at how much drama your ego creates when you start watching your own ego through a non-judgmental viewpoint. And non-judgmental is very important. You cannot judge yourself.
Keep going.
Someone's at the door.
You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go.
Nobody ever comes home. Who the hell is knocking our door? Okay, so the second point. Okay. All right. So another point, you guys, I have 6 points written down. Another thing that's coming up is for us to go on a detox. You know, Siman and I, we're not judgmental about what you eat, what you don't eat. What do they need?
Just the water bottles.
Okay. So we are super non-judgmental. And 2 days ago, we got guidance for Siman and me to start eating a vegan. I don't know how I'm going to eat a vegan. So if any of you vegans, I mean, please share your favorite recipes. I have to literally Google vegan recipes because at least we eat fish. Like we love fish, but our guides are saying right now, try to eat as alkaline as a diet as possible. So no eggs, literally for us, that's what we're doing. No eggs, no
No dairy.
pasta, no dairy. Like eat a vegan, clean, raw, like raw carrots, raw salads.
We've been eating raw carrots like every day. She's so smart. She makes them diced like little potato chips.
We're eating
and we
carrots
just
all
eat
day.
carrots all day. It's so refreshing.
So basically, that's what our body. So again, detox is coming up as a huge one. So first one's declutter, second one is detox, and maintaining your pH balance is key right now because your body, if it's acidic, you're in a state of disease manifestation. So getting your bodies back to alkaline right now is coming up as a huge guidance because of how much this energy is throwing you around, and you can't afford to be off balance right now. You cannot afford to be thriving in an in an acidic state. So something that Siman and I tried yesterday, we love this therapy actually. It's called biomagnetic therapy, or it's called medical magnetic therapy. In Mexico, it's very common. Look it up. What they do is they come to your house, put you on a massage bed, a regular massage bed, and they place magnets on you, and then they pull your legs, and your legs basically give them a yes or a no. And literally, she pointed it down to a T what we need. She says, no more ceviche. And I'm like, damn, because she says, your stomach, you feel like you have E. coli. And I'm like, damn, my guides told me that a few days ago too. So she was absolutely right. She says, no more raw fish, no more raw stuff, like you eat cooked food. So for now, I would say at least for 3 to 4 days or 5 days, give your system a reset. Going vegan doesn't mean you have to not eat meat or eggs or whatever all your life, but it means give your body 5 days to replenish its alkaline state. Give your body 5 days to say, oh my God, I'm getting all those vegetables, I'm getting all those fruits, I'm getting clean water with lemon, because once you put lemon, it becomes very alkaline, which is what you want. Or what else? Not having any cow's milk. Cow's milk is so not good for us. Replace it. We used to only have cow's milk tea, and now we can't stand it. Now we have almond milk in our tea, almond milk, oat milk in our cappuccinos.
And also we recommend digestive enzymes before every meal because they help you absorb your meal much better. So
assimilate your food.
Any like toxins that your body cannot assimilate, instead of storing them, the digestive enzymes would just remove them.
So there's one other thing that I want to talk about here. There's a few things here. Yeah, let's do this one first. So the next point, you guys, is use your emotions as a remote control to figure out, use your emotions as a remote control to access higher timelines. You want to explain that?
Yeah. So
use your emotions as a remote control to access higher timelines.
Absolutely. So as we all know, our emotional frequency is what creates our reality. And when we're in a higher emotional frequency like love, gratitude, joy, then we're automatically in a 5D state. It's ease, flow, and we can more easily manifest what we desire in that state. That's what all abundance and manifestations coaches know and teach. But the download that came to us today was that your emotions, this is just a reminder, but your emotions are within your control. Like just how you have a remote control that you can switch the channels, imagine you had a remote control for your emotions. So visualize it right now. So bring your hand forward and imagine you're holding a remote control and says, I want to feel good. I want to feel joy. I want to feel love. I want to feel cherished. And whatever emotions you wish to receive, you can look at yourself in a mirror right now and beam those emotions to yourself, beam love to yourself, beam being held to yourself. So anything that you crave, you realize you can give yourself. So you now have an emotional remote control that you can access at any given time. And this actually works. You realize how powerful you are by not depending on any outside force or circumstance to raise your frequency. And our emotions are connected to the sixth dimension. They're connected to the realm of sacred geometry. And when we are in a balanced, harmonized emotional state, this has actually been shown in some physics experiments that when you bless water with love, the molecules of water examined under a microscope show a harmonized geometric pattern. Geometric patterns are 60. So in the microscope is actually showing the geometry of the water changing with the energy of love. So this just shows you that we are mostly made of water. So when we're energizing and harmonizing positive emotions, we're changing the molecular state of our own body. And that is extremely powerful. So you realize that you have the remote control to your own success, to your own wealth, to your own abundance by accessing these feelings anytime. So let's say you're feeling depressed. What do? You say, I want to feel better. And you go, you give yourself time to heal. And then you go look at yourself in the mirror and be your best friend and give yourself love, give yourself support and anything that you wish to access. And over time, you realize that you are not needing to depend on anything for the love that you need. And it's a very powerful tool.
Yeah, and there's another way that so let me tell you what came up for me this week. I'm dealing with retreat centers. Right now, I'm dealing with like a retreat center for the New Earth Music Festival. The New Earth Festival, oh my God. Wait till you guys see the House of Ra new logo. It's amazing. And somebody Denise from our Soul family actually designed it. And she did such an amazing job. Oh my God, it feels like it was channeled by Ra himself. It's like a statement. It's gorgeous. You'll see it very soon. It's the new House of Ra logo. So one of the things I noticed is while dealing with the retreat center, I realized that as we go along our ascension journey, we get wings, we get psychic abilities, we get all these powerful frequencies, all these powerful mega powers. And we have like the assistance of the galactics, we have assistance of like angels and ascended masters. And all of a sudden you start feeling like, oh, wow, life is so great in the higher realms. But then when you come down, like you can move mountains in the higher realms, no problem. But then when you come down to 3D and 4D, it's like people follow their own schedule. People don't have enough communication skills. You feel people don't have integrity. You feel people are not true to their word because they'll say, we'll send you the contract today and then it won't show up for 2 days. So I had a lot of my lessons come up in the last 3 or 4 days. But because I can see them as lessons, they're super easy for me to transcend. So one lesson that came up for me was this feeling of frustration of, oh my God, these people are so damn slow. So I started pushing against the energy. Like, where's our contract? Or, it's like about time, or our boundaries are being abused. Of course, I wasn't doing it every day, but that was my frequency. That was the frequency I was emitting. And I'm like, hold on a second. This is not how life is in 5D. You don't feel any frustration. You don't feel like you're going against energy. So instantly I coached myself. So I said, all right, what do I need to be doing different? And you know what the message was? When you're projecting that all the chaos around you, this is super important, all the chaos around you, all the slowness around you, anything around you where you feel like you're pushing against the energy is mirroring to you where you are out of balance. So in my case, all of this was mirroring to me that I'm going too fast. Many things. Oh my God, like it was mirroring a million things to me. One, I was going too fast. Tulum is very laid back. And it's not about Tulum. It's not about the retreat center people. It's not about changing them. It's not about any of them. It's about me. The lesson that came up for me was one, meet people where they are. This is a huge takeaway, you guys. Because as we start going in our ascension journey, we become superstars in the higher realms. And then to like deal with people who, they don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. They're just talking to you like you're some normal Mary, Jane, and Lou. And there's no accountability. So first of all, the thing is meet people where they are and have compassion for where they are. They're doing the best they can. And recognize that your feeling unsupported by them is a reflection of your trauma of feeling unsupported as a child, which we all still carry. Trust me, I've done so much healing on myself, and right now what I'm clearing is still, like Siman gave me a clearing yesterday, it was all childhood related. And this is happening like every week now for me. Childhood related, saying, oh my God, I felt unsupported as a child. So now my whole life, anywhere that I feel unsupported, I go out of control because I'm like, what the hell? My ego amplifies it. My ego amplifies it, saying, look, they're not stable. Look, they're not true to their word. Look, they're not in their integrity. But then what you do is use this as a mirror to reflect back to you, saying, I need to slow down. I need to adjust my expectations of people. Big one for EldoRa this week. I need to adjust my expectations of people. This was like the biggest lesson I learned. Because my expectation is that they do this, they do this, they do this. And my guys are like, those are all your expectations. Why do they have to be intelligent? Why do they have to be intelligent? Because you want them to? Why do they have to be in their integrity? Because you want them to? And I'm like, shit, those are expectations. So really harmonizing that and really, really accepting that the chaos. So when you see chaos around you guys, exactly, unsupported family is a huge tug, you guys. So if you were unsupported as a child, I'm telling you, there's so much to be cleared right now. This sense of burden, like I'm all alone, I have to do everything, I am unsupported. All of this is being cleared from the collective right now. It's huge what's happening right now. So going back to, so the point being, the point of this whole teaching, I'm going to wrap it up and put a bow on it. What is it? Use the chaos around you to mirror to yourself where you are out of balance. So in my case, it was that I had to slow down. In my case, it was that I have to amend my expectations of other people. And you know what freed me is when I realized that I'm also giving away my power. In a certain way, I'm giving away my power to these people by thinking, oh my God, like 36 people have already sent their deposit. I need to send them their rooms. And then, like Siman literally said to me yesterday, he says, why are you a slave to this? And I'm like, you're so right. Because he was giving me a healing, and the root cause is, why are you a slave? He says, worst case, if this retreat center, if this hotel doesn't give us the contract by, let's say, Sunday, you have the power to say, screw off, we're not dealing with you anymore. And guess what? We signed the contract yesterday. Because I got the lesson. I came down from the healing. I checked my phone. The contract was there. Everything was fine. We signed it. It's the lesson. So right now, the universe is giving you these lessons in every single interaction of yours. Literally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single interaction.
And to sum it up, the download that's coming to me about this equinox is allow yourself to be who you have become rather than who you used to be. So this equinox is all about leaving the old you back at the door. You're walking through a door this Sunday. Leave the old you behind and cut cords with that person. And just take the next few days, the next 2 days, to take stock of all the challenges, obstacles, everything that you have overcome or are currently overcoming. Take stock of that and convert all of that from an ego story to, what have I learned from this situation? When you ask yourself, what have I learned from the situation? The ego has no chance to get in. When you take responsibility for everything you've created in your life and say, what have I learned from this? Then you're sending a signal to your higher self saying that I'm ready to break this pattern because I am ready to learn what I need to change. Ego will always pull you into complacency. So ask yourself, what have you learned? Take down those lessons, or ask your higher self to give you the answer if it's not apparently clear, what have I learned? So the answers come to you if you set the intention. And then you realize that when you walk through equinox, you'll walk through as a brand new person rather than the person who is constantly repeating old loops.
Another one that came to us is, where are you shouldering other people's burdens? And this is tied directly to the equinox energies. Because again, it goes back to my analogy of the rocket ship trying to take off, and all these burdens are weighing on you. And let's talk about a few burdens right now. What are your burdens? Comment and let us know, and we'll pull some of these for the live. So we can even think of some. One burden is, before I knew Siman, as a woman, oh my God, I felt like this burden that I had. I was in charge of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was in charge of packing my son's lunchbox. And when we got moved in together, some days I would be sitting and he would be making tea in the morning. And I would have so much, like I would have this feeling of I'm just sitting around doing nothing and he's making everything. And then one day Saman sat me down and he says, do you realize how much you do? I do a fraction of how much you do. And I'm
exactly.
like,
Even
really?
She gives me appreciation for like doing 10% of the work that she does.
We women
and I had to
especially
reflect
don't
back
see
to her,
it.
like, you've taken so much burden on yourself. If only I could do more, I would.
Wow, this was huge. And many of you, I'm talking to many of you, especially women, we do so much, and maybe many men, I don't know. I'm talking to anyone who resonates with this. We do so much for others.
Light workers in general are overgivers.
Oh, exactly. We're overgivers, but really, where are you shouldering other people's burden? So right now, we have completely cut that expectation that just because I'm a woman, this is all what the matrix does. I'm not in charge of getting us meals. We're both equals in our relationship. We are in business together. We are in everything's together. And what we do is, so the point is, where are you shouldering other people's burdens? So number one, if you are feeling burdened at the end of your day, you're trying to get your business going, you're trying to get your healing. And if you're feeling burdened trying to run a family, what do you do? So I'll tell you what we do. I used to cook 7 days a week or 6 days a week or sometimes 5 days a week. Now I cook once every 2 weeks. What we do is we get healthy organic food delivered to our house. So that's how we've changed our lifestyle to manage our lifestyle so that cooking doesn't feel like a burden. Every single thing we do right now feels like ecstatic joy. Like yesterday, just because it was his birthday, and nothing that money can buy can make him happy. And I said, I'm going to cook for him. And now that we're vegan, I'm like, oh my God, what do we eat? So I made aloo matar, which is potato and peas and
it's heavenly.
It's like in a tomato gravy with some brown rice.
It's like food for the soul.
And it was so good. So we ate that yesterday and we ate it today. But the important thing is now I cook when it feeds my soul, and we're happy when we're cooking. It's not like a freaking burden.
Yeah, it's not a chore.
Where else are you burdened? Let's see. Even overgiving our knowledge. Oh my God, that's a big one. We don't do that. Listen, if someone's not open to learning from us, we don't try to shove wisdom down their throat. So that's a great one. Your adult children. Guys, something's coming very strong right now. I am reading in our collective soul family. And I'm seeing this.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm seeing this in a few couples that we have met personally. And their attitude is more like, oh, we follow EldoRa and Siman, and EldoRa and Siman are our favorite, and they are the best. And they have this attitude, and their poor spouses are such nice people. But because of how much you guys love us, your spouses don't stand a freaking chance. So we went to somebody's house a few months ago, and this poor man literally looked at us and says, so you are teachers? So he said something very positive. He looked at us and he says, so you're teachers? And she's like, they're not just teachers. They are this and they are that. And so basically what I picked up was, I said, guys, you need to really, really reassess why there is such a rift between you and your partner. And I'm seeing this in so many couples right now, because the one partner is jabbed, one partner is not. One partner who follows us thinks, okay, now we follow EldoRa and Siman, and you don't know anything. This is the attitude we're seeing, and this has to be fixed. You know why? Some of your spouses may be your biggest teachers. Just because you follow us and just because you learn all our lingo and everything, it doesn't mean that your spouse is not knowledgeable or is not loving. So going easy with your spouse is very important. And what the guides are telling me right now is treat your spouses like your higher self treats you. Does your higher self judge you and condemn you? Does your higher self say you're low frequency, you're not awake? Your higher self doesn't. Your higher self is so loving and says, forgive yourself, don't take any guilt. So be with your spouses, even if they're unawake. Listen, when I was completely asleep, Siman was awake. And I remember to this day, there was this one time, this was 8 years ago, we were all walking, Siman, a bunch of spiritual people, and me. And I was completely asleep. I was still praying namaz, like as a Muslim, because that's all I had been taught. And I remember we were walking, and this one girl
I remember
started
that.
trashing her boyfriend and says, "My boyfriend is such a trash." Okay, this is really gross. But basically, he came home drunk one day or whatever, and he peed in her room or some shit like that. So she says this, all of this, and an hour later, we're still walking around, and we're crossing the street. And at that point, I have no sense of self-worth because I don't know who I am yet. This was 8 years ago. I had never been reflected who I am. So she says, "Oh, Siman, you and I are so similar," because they all worshipped him because they thought he was awake, and they didn't worship me. In fact, they judged me and condemned me because I was completely asleep, but I was still a sweet person. But for them, the currency was spirituality. So she says, "Oh, Siman, you and I are so alike, and my boyfriend and EldoRa are so alike." And in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh yeah, he likes to
stopped her
dance."
at that point.
Even then, I'm not getting any red flags, right? I'm like, "Oh, at least I'm like her boyfriend," because I had no sense of self-worth, you guys. I was still very smart and business oriented and leadership and excelled. Any interview I went to, I got the job. Like I was the charming one. I was always very successful, but I had no sense of self-worth. And what did you say? He was like,
I said,
"Are you
kidding
kidding
me?
me?"
I said, EldoRa is the most loving.
No, you said EldoRa is a queen.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was shocked.
Because she was comparing her to someone who's like not even in the same realm.
Yes.
So it's just the point being that in spirituality, we sometimes take on a spiritual ego, which is very self-destructive. So we need to be aware of our patterns and watch ourselves, how we're projecting our spiritual ego, saying, "I am better than you." And that happens in relationships more than anywhere else. So,
and the funny thing is, if he had not constantly reflected to me how amazing I was, and if he had judged me when I was asleep, like, think about it. People judged me, and now I have a freaking YouTube channel, and some of them watching me are like, "What the hell happened to this girl?" Right? Everyone's in shock.
And to give you the true template of mastery, masters are always the most humble, non-assuming people. Masters are always the ones who say, "I don't know anything," because the more I learn, the more I realize there's how little I know. So we're even, masters are always going to put others in a way that they
In an
see
elevated
everyone as a
frequency.
teacher. Even if you attract a person who, according to your ego's judgment, is low frequency, but if you look at them as a master, you will say, "What lesson do I need to learn, and what is the reason this person has come into my existence?" And then treat them as a teacher. And teachers have the highest respect amongst anyone. So as a master, we must learn humility, not and discern from our own spiritual egos.
Very important. Okay, guys. So another one, and I think we've already gone into this, but for me, another big exercise was, where am I a slave to my own life? Where am I a slave? So in this whole retreat center example, I was a slave. Like I was experiencing frustration, which is a low vibration. I was experiencing expectation, which is a low vibration. So when I'm experiencing these two, why am I experiencing it? Because I have lessons to learn. And I'm on a freaking rapid ascension. Like I haven't met anyone whose ascension path is as rapid as mine, because I have a very short period of time to master all the curriculum because of my soul
and I
mission.
can testify to that. The way she's rising up with her ego lessons, it's like literally she's like in special ops training where she has
Oh
to
my God.
pull it forward and like learn a lot of things in a short span of time. And she's doing it like a trooper.
I am. I
She's
truly am.
really like a ninja of the ego these days, I would say.
And so one thing though is yes to all of that. But one of the things I noticed also is that what makes me go so fast is that I don't hold guilt for my past version. So I don't hold guilt that shit, I was judging her yesterday, or shit, I was in expectation. I was projecting my expectation. Holding guilt is going to keep you in a low timeline. Do you guys get it? You have to move forward, let go of guilt, and say, all right, that was a past timeline. And guess what? The way you push them in that timeline helped you get the contract faster. But now that you've learned the lesson, you can let that burden go and stop giving away your power. That's what we do. We take every lesson and we dissect it a million times. We don't just get one lesson out of it. We get like 10 lessons. So what I got was, why am I giving away my power? Screw House of Ra. Screw New Earth Festival. Screw the retreat center. Screw the 36 guests who are coming to our event. Literally, that was me giving away my power. And I love you guys, but you know what I mean. It's like,
No cords.
why am I a slave to anything? And then I just dropped everything. And I said, you know what? I'm usually like this. That's the funny thing. In these energies, even if you're carrying 10% of this chaos, it will be highlighted. Because usually that's how I live my life. I'm super easygoing. I don't have any agenda. But with this House of Ra thing, with 2 months, I was actually feeling a bit like that. And then I said, I need to take back my power, and I'm taking back my power right now. So take stock in your lives and take back your power anywhere you've given it away. Anywhere. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it is with us, with your parents, with where have you given away your power, with your spouse.
And one more thing that's coming up in a major way is the mother cord. And that's what we're going to be addressing this Sunday in the cord cutting ceremony. So I'll give you an example. I had a energy healing session with a client. She was in her middle ages. She was a nurse and very nice lady. And when I looked at her field psychically, all I saw was, let's say EldoRa is the
This
person.
was 8 years ago when he was giving someone
I was still giving
healing.
one-on-one healings like a long time ago. So if she was here, there was like a web of cords
I remember.
extending all the way back. And in the back, in the distance, I could see her mother. And when I told her that, she was shocked because she said, my mother manipulates me and she gets sympathy out of me. And she's built up stories that she's not well. And she always guilt trips me to come over and spend time with her and look after her, even though nothing may be wrong. She'll like pretend to be sick just to get sympathy and all of these things. So I said, of course, I can see this as a psychic web. But what she didn't realize, she said, yeah, but my mother's a good person. She wouldn't do it purposely, would she? I would say she's a good person, but out of fear, her ego knows that she is manipulating you. Her soul knows that there's a bit of manipulation because soul cannot be lied to. So the soul knows everything. But out of fear, she justifies this manipulation and the faking of all these things to get sympathy and love. So what we're getting in the collective is that we need to cut the mother cord. And this is something that was channeled by Archangel Michael. What happens is that many of us retain the umbilical cord energetically. So there's an umbilical cord energetically still tied from your belly button to your mother. And that is the reason many of us grow well into our 40s and 50s and our parents are still parenting us. And especially with the mother cord, the mother would be an over-dominant energy in your field. And that is why many of us hold so much resentment towards the mother, because the mother cord not only affects you negatively, it also turns your mother into a different version of herself that is being controlled by an ego story of fear. So both of you are trapped. It's not that your mother is a bad person, that's why she's doing it. It's like both of you are trapped in this holographic hall of mirrors where you're playing some story that is not your highest version. So when we chop off this mother cord and really extract all of its remnants from the chakras, you'll suddenly realize that your relationship with your mother becomes lighter, more loving, more free, and more energetically open to healing rather than recycling of resentment and old patterns.
And so, yes, some people are asking, yes, absolutely. Even if your parents have transitioned,
yes,
cord cutting or removing these energetic loops are so important.
In EldoRa's field, it was very prominent that her father, because of some of the guilt that her father, who has passed away since the last 10 years or so, some of the guilt he was holding as a soul for some of the things that some of the abuse that he inflicted on EldoRa during her childhood. Because of that, his soul was still very present in EldoRa's aura. And in healing sessions, we had to identify his energy, and it was like he was trying to be there as a guide, but he's not qualified to be there as a guide. Even in so he was basically displaying the same pattern that he displayed during her childhood by being an over-dominant toxic masculine who's trying to control her. But in his heart, he was trying to guide her and do right to what was done wrong.
And the best day of my life is when I fired him.
So we released his aura from.
I said, "You're fired, Dad." And I said to
we
Archangel
fully
Michael,
released him.
"Take him up to the higher realms because we don't need his guidance
So, yes,
anymore."
we
And
can-
there's no blame.
You can do this with deceased
Yes.
ancestors. Many of them are not qualified to be your loving guides because they're just simply not there as souls. Just because somebody transitions doesn't make them an ascended master. They're still the same personality.
This is very important to understand. A lot of you feel, oh, many people, even we used to, I used to think that, like, oh, once they've passed on, oh, now they can guide us. Not really.
Not really at
8
all.
years ago,
if they were bad guides during your lifetime, they'll be the same.
So when they pass away, their veil of amnesia lifts off, but their consciousness is still the same. So their consciousness is only directly related to the soul lessons they have learned in this lifetime and all past lifetimes. So an old soul will remain an old soul, an ancient soul will remain an ancient soul, and a young soul will remain a young soul. So it doesn't mean that if somebody passes away, oh wow, now they're my ascended master guide. So that's what we did in the 222 conference. We actually fired all the guides that are still vibrating. Like we asked
Lower
for the
level
higher
guides.
guides only, and this is
Yeah.
so important. And so tomorrow on Sunday, actually in the cord cutting ceremony, what Siman actually got from Archangel Michael is that we're going to be cutting the energetic umbilical cord.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing this on Sunday. And guys, many of you asked, so this damn USA changed the time zone again today? In Tulum, it's 5 o'clock now, and we're Eastern time zone, I guess. So for the cord cutting, 1 o'clock is a bit early. But anyway, I wanted to start
I love
at
your inner
2.
child.
1 o'clock is like, I've just had my coffee. Anyway, so we're
It's
going to
okay,
do
I'll make
1
her
o'clock.
go to bed early the night before.
You're the
Don't
one
worry.
who wants to chill with me
I'll
till
put out
like
her milk and cookies early.
till 1 o'clock. He wants to chill with me every night. So then anyway.
Well, it's your fault for
So
being
guys,
so
it's
interesting.
1 o'clock. So the time is correct, meaning, hold on. Let me get my thoughts right. So we set 2 p.m. EST USA time, EST so we're doing New York time 2 o'clock, which is
Yeah.
1 o'clock for us in Tulum, but it's 2 o'clock.
Okay, forget about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. It's 2 o'clock Eastern New York time.
Yes.
And so it is.
And so it is. What else? I think I'm done.
I think we're like time traveling.
Do you
a
guys
bit
have any
these days.
questions? We have 3-4 more minutes if you guys want to hang out. Any questions, you guys? So March is
hectic.
Yes.
We get it.
And so I hope you guys have all bought the cacao and you guys
So
are
we
ready.
sent an email with the cacao recipe already. And hopefully everybody got it. But if not, look up your own recipe and make it your own way. So
Cacao is a heart expansion. It's a medicine. It's medicine, you guys. So after this cord cutting ceremony on Sunday, we're first going to go into cord cutting. We're going to do all this energetic cords. We have a few things that we have to do. And then we have a shaman, a Mexican Mayan shaman, who's going to be coming in and leading a full-fledged cacao ceremony right from our house. She's coming with her 4 musicians, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and that's going to help us integrate all of the healing that we've just had with Archangel Michael.
Yes, so I look forward to seeing so many of you on Sunday for the ceremony. It's so freaking powerful.
And a lot of our soul family has already joined, so we have a really big group
container.
energy.
We have a good container.
Yeah.
I love you guys. This was amazing. Amazing. And guys, if you haven't got your ceremonial cacao, just go to Whole Foods or go to your organic store and buy organic
It's
cacao
very common.
powder.
It's available everywhere.
It's available everywhere.
And it's a superfood, just so you know.
Perfect. All right, then, my friends, we will leave you with our love. Thank you for joining. Happy integration, all these crazy March energies.
Happy Equinox.
Please share our videos widely and freely. The richer our soul family gets, the richer our experiences get, seriously. And for any of you who are waiting for the Tulum tickets, they're going to be launched on Sunday night or maybe Monday morning. But if you're like, I am an FES and I'm going no matter what, I don't even need to see the website. There's already 36 people they've already booked their accommodation. So just email us at info@houseofra.com. In total, we only have 145 tickets as of now. That's it. 36 are gone. With the 2 of us, 38. With some of our team, 45. So you can do the math. I look forward to Tulum. It's going to be so amazing. We're right on the beach. Like we're right on the beach. All right, my friends. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone.